Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bedford County Sports Live. It's the Coach Jud Dryden Show, and I'm Bill Anderson, your host. And, Coach, today's a good day for a coach's show.
It's always a good day for a coach's show, but especially when there's a win behind it.
And today's show, everybody, is brought to you, as always, by SLC Firearms inside Shelbyville Lumber, 917 North Main Street, 931-684-5731. The website you can Twitter up, slcfirearmsllc.com. Great website. You need to check it out. Once you walk into Shelbyville Lumber, Coach, what do you got to do?
Is right turn?
Right turn at Plumbing. And then there you are with Mike Matusik, Chris Cartwright, and the team running. Check them out. Coach, you go on the road. 34-22. Good win. Good. Any win's a good win. This one especially.
It was. It's first time since I've been here that we won our opener. That's a big deal for us. And then to go up there and play like we did on defense and control the clock the way that we did on offense. And even though we had some miscues that I'm sure we'll talk about here in a little while.
Oh, yeah.
On special teams and things like that.
Right.
A few penalties, that should not have occurred that were good calls by officials. We were able to overcome a lot. We were resilient.
Absolutely.
We stayed focused on what was important in the moments, and we came away with the W. So I got to be happy.
Let's start with the first offensive drive of the game. And I'm sure you all scripted some plays, but there was a nice mix of run, short passing, and moving the football, and it winds up with an RPO about the 8-yard where Steven takes it into the end zone. Was that drive totally scripted pretty much?
For the most part, Coach Hunsaker does a phenomenal job at that. He's a top-notch offense coordinator, and we're blessed to have him. But yeah, most of it is scripted. I mean, there's some give and take in the script based on situational type stuff, but it's just a lot of what do we want to look at, what do we want to see, and verify and go. And so that's pretty much what he hangs his hat on in that first.
So we're able to go on the road, get the nice 7-0 lead, come out on defense and look really good. Zion Bonner had a play or two. Nate Zimmerman, Brody Lavorne, they're swarming. Your kids are everywhere. They can't complete a screen. Yep. Really got to be proud of that defense.
Oh, yeah. It's especially considering what happened to us last year. It's knowing in the first half they had next to nothing when it came to offensive yards. It's hats off to Trey Stewart, Stephon Ransom, Will Trice, Ryan Hornberger, those guys. Buck Curtis, his D line played phenomenally well. The nice thing about what Buck's done with the defensive line is he's taken what it took us two guys to do last year with Radon and Tarvis, and he uses a good mix of guys to make that happen. So that's been a huge plus for us. And so those guys had a great game plan. They did a phenomenal job. Our guys went out and executed that game plan, and we just played well, and it was fun to watch.
And where you got to be proud of your kids. Adversity strikes here. You have a couple of botch snaps or what have you. You have us kick a kickoff from the 7-yard line. I've never seen that before.
You're not.
But they scored 2 touchdowns and had less than 25 yards of total offense.
Yeah,
just mishaps.
Mishaps. Bad snaps on the punt, and just to be honest, we were lucky to just be able to cover them up in that moment and give ourselves a chance. And so the defense responded well. Yes, we gave up a touchdown on one of them, but they still responded and took, I think, one of those. It took 4 downs to score, if I remember correctly. So they even in those hard moments, they were out and they played hard, came off the field. We fixed the issues, went back out, did it again, and so. There was a lot of the first game type things you run into. You look out, and on the first punt return, our starting quarterback is getting ready to return a punt.
I about fell out of the chair, Coach.
I'm like, I just had to turn around and look at Coach Hornberger and went, "Hey, what are we doing, man?" He goes, "My bad," and it was fixed. I mean, so it was just those moments like that. It's that first game. He's he took over for Coach Nunez this year, and it was his first game calling it, and so I don't expect those mistakes to ever happen again like that. I mean, because that's the process we use. We make a mistake, we learn from it, and he called a phenomenal game, special teams wise, after that. So
but something bad happens like that. A lot of teams, it cost them, not this much.
Right.
Even the penalties that we're kicking off from the 7. I was really impressed with the resilience of our kids.
Yeah, these guys have a mindset that's just based in grit. They just take what they do and they continue to do it. And they understand that, a mistake or failure is part of a moment, but it doesn't define one moment. Doesn't define all the moments in a game, and they truly have really bought into that and operate from that, and that's been key.
Let's talk about one more play, and then we're going to get to our special player of the game because we got 3 today. It's going to be really fun to watch the kids. But a really Bobo to Bobo touchdown pass, 2 brothers hooking up.
Yeah.
That could have gone bad, Coach. That could have been really bad,
really fast. But I turned around and looked at Coach Stewart, and I was like, "Well, here we go, year 3. We finally get one of those to go our way instead of the other way." So I felt, in that moment, you can't help but feel a little bad for Coach Renshaw and those guys over at Siegel watching that happen.
Because they sell out for the interception, and then William goes to the house.
Lord knows we've been in that situation plenty. And it was something else. You just kind of watch it. Oh, wow. Okay. So here we go. And, you have preparation opportunity that puts you in a position. And again, Steven learns from that mistake, even though it went, what I loved about him, there's a lot of kids out there that would do that, see it work, and then think, oh, well, it's all good.
Again. Right.
With him and with all of our guys, they recognize that was fortune and grace in that moment, and we've got to fix that.
Heck of a play by William, though, to go down that sideline.
And it was. And so that's how they operate, and you got to love them for it.
All right. The boss man's getting something queued up for us. Shelbyville Lumber and Bedford County Sports Live. We have an offensive player of the week and a historic game for Robert Bailey. And we've got a clip we're going to play where we went out to the school and talked to Mr. Bailey about the ball game. And this is going to be a special edition. We're going to do this every week now. We're going to have the Coach Dryden Show, and this is brought to you by Shelbyville Lumber and the Bedford County Sports Live offensive player of the game, Mr. Bailey. I don't think anyone in this school history has ever run for 307 yards on 37 carries. How sore were you the next day?
I was sore until I started stretching that morning. But then I got better, back in shape, ready for next week. Well, this week coming up, this Thursday here at home. Yeah, I was sore.
How much defense did you play?
I ain't played a lot of defense. I was main focus was offense that week. Yeah, main focus was offense though.
Could you have carried it 40 times?
Oh yes, sir, I could have.
How much credit? Of course, I give you a world of credit, but you've got some offensive linemen in front of you that made some great blocks. But the second half, it just seemed like they didn't want to tackle you anymore. You had 107 yards the first half, and 200 the second.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give a shout out to Caleb Smith and Chandler Cates. Yeah, I was running behind Chandler Cates on our dozer outside B gap, inside C gap, and that was open almost all night.
Well, your award this week, show off what we've got here. It looks like a championship belt. What have you got there, Robert?
It's a championship belt. I earned it. I guess I have player of the game.
You played great, absolutely wonderful, and I'm sure your whole family's proud of you like we are.
Yes, sir. Thank everybody that came out and supported us on TV, too.
And it was nice to have a TV game. It was really, really outstanding. Now, tell me something. How much weight have you put on since last year?
I think I put about 15 to 20.
And all that's muscle, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
Are you ready for Thursday night in a big game against Marshall County?
Yes, sir. It's like a real big rival against us. They beat us my freshman year, and now my sophomore year, we beat them now. It's like 1-1 with me, so we're going to try to make it 2-1.
Well, we're all so proud of you. 37 carries, 307 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I don't know what you could ever do for an encore on that one, but it really doesn't matter as long as we get the W.
Yes, sir, it doesn't.
All right, and here in just a minute, we're going to have Mr. LeBron Ransom on next, and we're going to do the Defensive Player of the Week. Well, that was a pretty good clip right there. 37 rushes, 307, got to be a school record. There was, David Thomas and I were talking about this too. There was one run in the second half where they've got the angle on him, and he hits a gear that you don't see a lot of kids hit. That I don't know if he knew he hit it, but he hit that gear, and it was special.
He has been just phenomenal for us in the offseason. He's the only junior that's been elevated to our leadership council. He has slowly turned into a do as I do leader, which is going to allow him at some point to be a do as I say type leader for us. And in saying that, it's he epitomizes the I'm going to do it first mentality and show you how it needs to be done. And a lot of our guys are that way. It's just that right now we get to talk about Robert in that role, and he has come along in so many ways, maturity wise, physically, emotionally, mentally in the game. But I'll tell you, the focus that he brings and the intensity and intention of what he does, there's second to none. I mean, there's some that are equal to him in our program, but nobody more so. And it played out. And when he gives those shout outs to the offensive line, he fully understands that it takes those guys up there to allow him to do what he can do. And I see it every day in practice where he is encouraging them and he is working with them and he is trying to hone his craft so that he can take advantage of them as they hone theirs.
He can't carry the ball 37 times a game, Coach.
No, well, I mean, obviously he can.
He can.
I mean, so
but I don't think for the whole season.
That's not what we want for the season. No, and we're still early in development. We're still early in game planning and installs and all that. So things will open up over time. We'll start to use Nate Zimmerman showed us some really good things at the end of the game. We're much more confident in him now. So there's going to be more guys that are involved, but he is for sure our bell cow.
As people see the film, they see the big 307. You're going to start seeing the stack boxes. We both know it. 8, 9 man fronts. If I was doing it, that's what I would do. There's other ways we could get him the ball too. Pass game, screen, some other things too.
Yep.
Or we'll just have to take some shots deeper.
We will, and we have guys. We have guys we can throw shots too. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You want to stack the box? Well, we can go out over the top. You want to stack the box? We can get him out in. He's got a great set of hands on him. Obviously, he can accelerate. So I mean, there's just
the quarterback can move.
Yeah, the quarterback is mobile. I mean, he's a dual threat guy. So it places defense in constriction and constraint, and so we just have to be able to take advantage.
All right. Again, our sponsor is SLC Firearms right here in Shelbyville, inside of Shelbyville Lumber. You go to Plumbing, you hang a right, and you're there, 917 North Main Street. They've got guns. They've got gunsmithing. They got all sorts of stuff. The website is slcfirearmsllc.com. Now we're going to talk a little bit about we're going to do a lineman of the week, and we've got a clip from this, and Coach and I are going to come back and talk about an offensive line that not just this one kid, but when you run some 307 and had, 400 yards rushing, all these boys did a heck of a job. Let's play the clip right here and have our lineman of the week.
For the lineman of the week, and there used to be a number called 35, and that boy was a tight end, and I look up and I see somebody at left guard, 53, and playing great. What a game for you Thursday.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was a last-minute change. Happened about 2 weeks ago. Well, against Warren County, I was playing tackle because we had a couple guys out, but I played guard, fill in for someone this week.
Well, you filled in quite nicely. What's the difference for you playing the position from tight end to guard? More physical, but one thing you can do, and I'm sure Coach Dryden knows this, he wants his linemen to be able to move and pull.
Yeah, at tight end, the guys, they're more scared of contact, I feel like, and more quick, but at guard, they're right there at you, so there's no moving from the contact, straight to it.
Well, anytime your running back gets 37 carries for 307 yards, there was some boys up front making some holes, and you stood out to me in particular. Was there much pressure on you going into that game, going from tight end to guard, or was it just pretty seamless?
It was pretty seamless to me. We have a really good system for our inside zone. It's about the same, so if we just follow our rules, everything works out pretty good.
Who is your position coach?
Coach Keeley.
Is he hard on you?
Yes, sir. He's very hard on us.
Okay. What's the chain? Tell me the story.
Chain? Well, it's actually a rope. We haven't got it in yet, but it's basically there's a story he told us, and sum it all up. A guy fell down the cliff, and they had a rope, and they were holding on, and the only thing they were worried about was bringing that guy up with the rope, so it's just holding on one another, being linked in together.
Teamwork, that's what offensive line play is all about, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is.
This is your lineman of the week. We couldn't be more proud of him. It's a wonderful, wonderful game you had, and a big game coming up Thursday night against a cross-county rival in Marshall County. Are you looking forward to being at home?
Yes, sir. It's going to be a little scrappy, but we're going to see what happens.
Thursday night, get out and support the Golden Eagles, and this is the Jud Dryden Show. We'll be back with Coach Dryden. But you boys, good job.
Thank you.
All right, that's brought to you by Bedford County Sports Live and Shelbyville Lumber, 917 North Main Street. Coach, kudos to your offensive line,
Oh,
all of them.
Man, they
Hard to pick one.
Yeah, talk about Palmer in particular. What he did in accepting the role, the change in roles. I mean, it's not often that a guy has a chance to carry a football or catch a pass that will move into a position that gets no glory. That is all based on doing stuff for other people. And he stepped in, like you said, against Warren County. He played tackle for us against. Then Thursday night, he steps into that role right next to Chandler Cates and plays lights out. I mean, they're moving people. I mean, they're like a bulldozer just over there on that side. And and he found, the crazy thing about it is you could see it on his face coming off the field. He found joy in being able to do that and watch those running backs and watch Steven run for those yards. I mean, you could see that he was truly enjoying himself and playing football. And it's great to watch. Another one of our guys is on our leadership council and has turned into a do as I do guy and a servant leader in that. And it's really, really neat to watch him grow in that role. And as well as on the defensive side, he had a great game. I believe he had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. So, I mean, he just played phenomenally amongst a group of guys that all played well. You could see guys like Blake Lay growing. I mean, it's his first varsity start as a sophomore. You could see him growing throughout the game. You could see Ian Matuski and Caleb Smith directing traffic as seniors. You saw Chandler Cates come into his own. I mean, it was fun to watch. And you got our new starting Y, Jackson Thim, who's a sophomore. He played really well. Brody Lavorne came in. Him and Brody playing inside linebacker and rotating at Y. So it was fun to watch those guys. Now, I say that looking back, it was fun to watch the film on them. I spend most games just irritated all night. So about something's always got me to where I can't really enjoy a moment, but it's pretty fun to watch them.
And as the second half went on, we wore on them the second half.
And that was kind of the, what we wanted to see. I can't say necessarily it was the game plan,
right?
But it's how we train, it's how we prepare, it's how we do everything, and it's that stay in the moment, do your job, stay in the moment, and continue to work. And so they would come off the field, they'd get coached up, they'd fix it, go out, and you could see the corrections taking place. And then other mistakes would be made, and they would come back, they would fix them, and you could see those corrections being made. And by the time we hit the second half, things were really starting to roll for us in that.
And now we're going to move on to defense. And this may be I don't know how many total yards they had, but it was under 100. And I don't know how many snaps they had. But our Shelbyville Lumber Bedford County Sports Defensive Player of the Game is LeBron Ransom, a shutdown, lockdown corner. And here's LeBron.
Next up, we got the Defensive Player of the Game from the big win against Siegel, and it's Mr. LeBron Ransom. LeBron, you take away one side of the field. How did it feel to get back out there and play against Siegel?
Sure, it felt great. Wishing that they would have targeted me a little bit more, get more reps, but I should have took advantage of my opportunities that I had, but just know next week.
LeBron, what have you got in your hand right there?
Just a hammer. Shelbyville Central, we preach hammer, lay a hammer. Yeah, yes, sir.
Offense and defense, what do you prefer to play?
I like defense, but I feel like defense is more fun to me because they trying to score. We're the bad guy, we're the villain. I like being the villain.
You don't mind hitting somebody, do you?
Nah, I don't mind at all.
You got a big game coming up this Friday night, or this Thursday night, rather. And I was watching that Marshall County film. They've got a really good receiver over there. And before we did this, you wouldn't know this receiver quite well.
Yeah, I do know him quite well. I've been playing against him since about 6, 7. Not really a big matchup for me.
LeBron, when did you first start playing football? How many years have you played football?
12 years. I started at 5.
5 years old. Wow. Well, it's a big game Thursday night. It's right here at home. Come out and see your Defensive Player of the Week, LeBron Ransom. And LeBron, you've gotten a little bigger in the offseason, hadn't you?
Yeah, I did. I gained 20 pounds. I went from 133 to 158. So I'm still trying to gain. I'm trying to get to 165 by playoffs. So I'm going to get there.
Now, the one thing I know you can do is run. How fast do you think you are?
I think I'm pretty fast. I think I'm going to get way faster over the season when I start loosening up, get more confident. But, yeah, pretty fast. I think my 40 at the beginning of the year during all season was 4.5 flat or 4.49, one of them two. But yeah, I topped that at 23.4 miles per hour. So.
Do you run some track as well as football?
Yes, sir, I do run track. I went to state last year.
I thought you did. Went to the state. Big game this Thursday night. Get out and support the Golden Eagles. Come see LeBron play. LeBron, we got to shut that guy down on Thursday night.
He getting shut down for sure.
Absolutely. LeBron, thanks for being with us. And next up will be our lineman.
Coach, pretty good clip right there. LeBron Ransom. Can't say enough because he did. He took the side. He took one side of the field away, which allows your defense to concentrate on other things.
Yeah, we matched game plan, had him matched up against their top receiver, and it showed all night. He had a great game. I mean, you can't say enough about this young man. He's on our leadership council. He is constantly coaching younger guys, and not just in the techniques that we teach. He's really good with understanding leverage and space on the field as a player. And he's constantly trying to get our younger guys to understand that. And it's amazing to watch him. I mean, I'll hire him. He goes to college, comes back. I'll hire him in a heartbeat to coach our secondary. I mean, he understands football. And when you match that with that kind of athleticism and that kind of want to, man, you've got a really good football player.
Well, LeBron comes from a football family. I'll tell you that right now. That is the Ransoms are a football family.
And he represents well. I mean, he's a phenomenal young man.
Defensively, just such a great effort. Brody LaVorn, he was everywhere.
He was, and he also directs everything as well. So up front, I mean, he's making all the calls. He's getting everybody set correctly. He's doing all those things, and still making plays. I mean, he is filled in really well for Logan McBee to the point where by the end of the season we may not really remember Logan McBee because it's going to be Brody LaVorn. He's taken Jackson Thiem under his wing a little bit and taught him some of those things at will, and he's constantly working with the defensive line. So he's another guy.
Nate Zimmerman.
Yeah, he's
another guy.
I mean, and those sophomores. I mean, that sophomore class has multiple athletes in it. I mean, and so Nate Zimmerman's got a motor that doesn't stop. You've got him out there doing that. You've got Steven, of course, playing safety and quarterback. You've got two offensive linemen starting that are sophomores. I mean, that class has a lot of guys playing a lot of good football. Jay Whitelow is another one that's coming along well. So,
and he's a bigger player, especially for the South Side line or receiver that can go get it. Because I know Steven and him hooked up a lot in junior high. So he could really go get it.
So that class it's a good class, and it's a good complementary class for where we're at right now.
Another guy to me that stands out, Coach, and I think while LeBron was out, is Maddox Wright.
Yes.
He's a little gem that just showed up here in the defense.
Defensively, he has come into his own.
Right.
We did 7-on-7. We were light on corners. LeBron had been out with a strained hamstring, and we were just trying to figure out, okay, who can play corner. And so all right, Maddox, let's give you some reps over there. And at first he looked a little uncomfortable, but then as he started figuring it out and was studying film, the kid is he's a film junkie. He's constantly wanting to be better and doing stuff. And man, he has really and truly.
He's got a whole lot better.
He plays taller and faster than he is, and that's pretty neat to see.
All right, we're going to hear from our sponsor again. It is SLC Firearms. We all know where it's at, 917 North Main Street, 931-684-5731 inside of Shelbyville Lumber. They've got a great website, great products. If they don't have what you want, they'll get it pretty quick. And if you run in there, you go to the plumbing, you hang a right. And if you get really lucky, Coach, there's a legendary figure that sometimes is there, and you'll be really lucky to catch him. You remember who that guy is?
I remember who he is, but I've never laid eyes on the man in there. So
it would be our good friend Ricky Epperson, and he always enjoys a shout-out from Bill Anderson and Coach Dryden. I know he appreciates it.
I'm sure he does.
All right, Coach, we've got a game Thursday night. What we got going on? We got some food trucks lined up. David, I want to eat.
It's Food Truck Thursday instead of Friday. Our Booster Club ladies have been great with this, and there's going to be plenty there. And
plenty of food,
plenty of things going on.
I heard a rumor about a tailgate. What's going on there?
The students are having a big tailgate. Some of the parking spots were purchased as tailgate spots, so that's all going to be going on. So we're trying to expand our pregame festivities and such. But most importantly, this game, with it being our first home game on a Thursday, celebrates Bedford County Training School. and their history and everything they've done. Last year, we recognized Coach Claiborne and everything he's done for to get the word out about Bedford County Training School and do all those things. Working with the school system here for so long and playing and all that. And we're going to recognize another player from the Harris Bedford County Training School era on Thursday night. We're excited to see that. We'll have the last number I got was about 30 guests that are either former players or relatives or that have come in. So it warms my heart and makes my heart happy to be able to go out there and meet and talk to those. I mean, it's so cool to have Coach Claiborne come in the office and just story after story. I mean, it's amazing, and there's so much rich history here. There's so many great things that have happened in Shelbyville, and it's just such an amazing thing to be a part of something like that.
Absolutely.
So we're incredibly blessed and fortunate for everything we can do.
As you prepare for Marshall County, of course, hearing from my good friend S. Todd Bobo and his boys, William and Stephen, both said in 7-on-7, Marshall County was about as good as anybody.
They were. They're very,
very good. But we're not playing 7-on-7
we're not
Thursday
playing
night.
7-on-7, but that doesn't take away from how good they are. And so we're going to have to be on point. We're going to have to be focused on the game plan and what execution points we have, and we got to stay in the moment.
Number 2, the receiver had, I think, 178 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and had a pick 6 in that game against Columbia. That was probably the difference in the ball game.
Yes, great player, just along with multiple other players they have. So anytime you can go athlete for athlete against Columbia Central, you've got some athletes, and so anytime you got athletes, you're dangerous. So we have to be prepared. We have our own athletes, but we've got to be prepared for.
Comes down to the trenches too. Offensive line and the defensive line for us seem to be the strengths, especially early.
Yep.
And this is a game we're going to need them.
Yes, we will, and there's no doubt about that. But again, Marshall County is well coached, and they have guys just like we do, and so it's we're in a lot of ways we seem to have become over the last couple of years mirror images of each other in some ways, and so it's a great game. I mean, anytime you can go line up and go head to head against one of the top 4A programs in Middle Tennessee, you take that opportunity and you get better from it.
Absolutely. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock this Thursday. Get out and support the Golden Eagles, the food truck. Come out and eat. Kids tailgating. It's going to be a big time out there, and support the Golden Eagles, Coach Dryden and the guys. And remember, next week, Shovel Lumber and Bedford County Sports Live, we're going to have 3 more players every week. Do the same thing we did, offensive player, defensive player, and alignment of the week. And we will be here next Tuesday again at 6 o'clock live for you. Hopefully, it will be another good day for a coach's show.
Lord willing.
Everybody get out and support Shelbyville. Kids need you, and we